After the U.S. Constitution was submitted by the Constitutional Convention and ratified, Patrick Henry predicted, quote, "This government cannot last. It will not last a century. We can only get rid of its oppression by a most violent and bloody struggle," close quote. 73 years later, the Civil War was fought over the question of whether or not power was to be consolidated under the godlike United States Constitution created by the Founding Fathers at the Constitutional Convention. Patrick Henry's first speech on June 17, 1788, was actually just a summary of what he said about the work of the Founding Fathers at the Constitutional Convention. However, the discussion of taxation in the United States Constitution and its possible implications for slavery is clear. In his argument against the Founding Fathers' proposal in the United States Constitution, he noted that, quote, "Congress had power to lay and collect taxes, imposts, and excises," close quote. The U.S. Constitution specified that, quote, "Imposts and excises were to be uniform, but this uniformity did not extend to taxes. This could not prevent Congress laying a grievous and enormous tax on a runaway slave so as to compel owners to emancipate their slaves rather than pay the tax," close quote. Was Patrick Henry a racist in making this statement? Slavery is mentioned in 4 books of the New Testament and is not condemned as a moral evil. Colossians 4:1 commands, quote, "Masters, grant to your slaves justice and fairness, knowing that you too have a master in heaven," close quote. If we are going to condemn slavery carte blanche as a moral evil, then we must be willing in the same breath to condemn the Word of God. Indentured servitude is perhaps a more palatable term to modern ears. It was used to pay off debt and work off double restitution for theft and was limited to 7 years. In general, it is the biblical alternative to the modern prison system, which is a moral evil and unbiblical state slavery. The U.S. Constitution does not deal biblically with the question of slavery. For example, the Bible forbids the return of a runaway slave, whereas the Constitution requires it. Thus, Henry was not a racist, but he was not familiar with biblical regulations for indentured servitude. At HistoryMythbusters.wordpress.com, you get the story behind the story. Only a return to the law of God in our legal system will save America.